mind, you are banging on your microphone.
I just realized that right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to What's New. I might release this on a Wednesday for once, so I'll probably say it. What's New Wednesday. But either way, what's new is just what's new to me. And if I'm bringing it to you guys, maybe it's a prototype. Maybe it's something that's going to drop in the next couple of weeks. Maybe it's been out for a little while, but I'm still bringing it in front of you guys because I think it's worth taking a look at. So my name is Tommy. Let's jump straight into it. All right, here we go. Let's start with this guy. Just because it's already out of the box. I already did a piece on this, a little bit of a more in-depth dive with this camera. This is the Runcam HD5. Here's the caveat. At the time that I've been shooting this video, Runcam actually sent me an email saying that they have taken into the feedback that I have given them from the feedback that we got from you guys, and they implemented some changes to the firmware that's going to be coming out as the official production firmware for this camera. The biggest one being that there will now be a 1080p 30 frames per second resolution in which the bitrate is also higher quality. It's up there more. What's a more elegant way of saying that? I felt like that's kind of weak sauce. I feel like it's just kind of like, I guess there's no other way to say it. Folks, the main thing here is that Runcam is listening to our feedback and suggestions, which is always a good thing when it comes to any manufacturer or brand in this hobby. So they also implemented a new barcode feature. Before this feature came along, the only way to change the settings on here was through a config file, which means you had to open up this file that lived on the SD card. You had to change a couple of the line codes, just a simple copy and paste. They also had an app that would do the things for you, but maybe it's a little too much. I don't know. But either way, they've come up with a solution, a barcode scanning solution. Shout out to TBS because I believe they are the first to actually innovate on that feature, which we'll talk about them in a second. But check out the Runcam HD5. People were asking, A, can you still use the recording feature when it's plugged in via USB? The official answer from this is not HQ. The official answer from Runcam is that yes, you can still record with the USB power plugged in, but only at lower resolutions, like 1080. The other thing is, does it fit session mounts? And the answer to that is yes. Dimensionally, it is exactly the same size as the session. It is lighter at 55 degrees. That's not a temperature, folks. It's 55 grams, not Celsius. All right, and the battery life is the other question that I'm getting. If you're shooting at about 1080p, you can expect about 90 minutes of battery life according to Runcam. And if you're shooting at 4K, expect about an hour. All right, let's move right along. Same company, folks, Runcam, here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Runcam Phoenix. I'm feeling that case. All right, so this is a micro cam with an M12 lens on it, and it's got the same performance as the Eagle. It just doesn't have the same low light performance. And so if you're not flying in low light situations, this is probably a good camera to get just because it's a little bit cheaper and it's got all of the bells and whistles that you can come to expect from a standard micro cam you can find these days, including the ability to control settings via a UART. So if you've got a flight controller that's got cam control, happy to know, Phoenix, good option, check it out. Next up is from Runcam again. Now this is a standard size camera, and this is the Night Eagle Pro 2. So you guys might be wondering, why do I have a night camera? I like to fly at night sometimes. I think you get some pretty cool shots, but that's not the reason why I asked Runcam to send me one of these. Story time for you folks. I was back on my bench trying to fix one of my quads, right? I'm looking at my monitor. I noticed the monitor's acting a little crazy. I said, what? Maybe I should go plug in another quad just to make sure that it's not the VTX or something else. So I grabbed the nearest quad. It happened to be a 3-inch quad. It happened to have a Night Eagle camera on there. Turn it on, look at my monitor. I'm all like, cool. It's not my monitor, it's not the camera, it's just the VTX on that thing. It's going bad. But wait, hold up. Why does that picture look kind of good though? So I started looking at it. I was like, wait a second. Everything's in black and white, but the picture quality, the image, the detail was really, really good. And so then I took it out and I just stood outside of my garage. I faced it inside, which is really dark and it's really bright on the outside, right? So it's a typical situation when you're coming in, diving some trees, you're looking into that blackness and you don't see nothing. Maybe there's a scraggle there. I don't know. With this camera though, I think I'll be able to see that. I haven't tested it yet, but I guess because I wanted to ask Runcam, I said, can you just send me whatever the latest version of the night camera that you've got? And so I'm gonna be testing this, folks. I'll probably make a video. My guess is that it's probably sharper, more detailed, and if you don't care for color, this might be the camera to take a look at. Oh, all right, folks, we've got a lovely care package here from the good old folks at TBS. So let's just jump into this here real quick. Let's start off with this. We've got a multi-tool. Now, I used to rock a multi-tool in my field bag all the time until TSA jacked my stuff. Shout out TSA for, you know, this size. It's got everything you need. Check this out, folks. And I really like the finish on that. I don't know if you can take a close look, but the finish on this is really nice, and I like the grip. Feels really good in the hand. All right, moving on. Toolkit from Black Sheep, Team Black Sheep. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've seen these tools plenty of times before, but Ryan, I think you're gonna agree here. Here's what makes this one different. Take a close look at the tool end here. It's got this nice, almost satin finish, and that's because the tool ends are heat treated, which means a little bit stronger. You know what I'm saying? A little less likely to actually strip. So check it out if you're in the market. Maybe you need some new tools. Maybe your current one's stripped out. Treat yourself to some heat-treated ones from Team Black Sheep. All right, here we go. First, we've got some new antennas from Team Black Sheep. This is the new Triumph Pro, and it's available in MMCX. This is the UFL. So, according to TBS, these antennas perform even better than the previous versions of the Triumph, and you've got the nice, smaller form factor, and it's obviously going to weigh a little bit less. Can I get that waist scale gram thing? All right, here we go. Let's just weigh the MMCX here. Coming in at 2 grams. All right, let's weigh the UFL. Should be a little bit lighter. 2 grams. This doesn't go to the point. We need to fix that. We need to get. I need to bring my other scale. Either way, folks, check out these antennas. Really nice and small. I like it. It's got the new shell on there that should be a little bit more crash resistance from popping off. I haven't done one yet. TBS Triumph Pro. Check it out, folks. All right. You know, keeping in the same thing as things being small and nano. We've got the Unify Pro 32 Nano. Look how tiny this is. So it comes complete with a smaller linear dipole antenna, but they include this 20 by 20 board. It's more of like a breakout board so that you can integrate it into things like the Crossfire. You can integrate with your flight control a little bit easier. It's just another way of making this, you know, easy to integrate or build into your mini quad. But here's the VTX itself. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, with all of its tiny goodness. UFL got a tiny little push button right there if you need to do things manually, but who does that nowadays? Everything's controlled either with the radio sticks, with Betaflight, camera control, VTX control. I'd hook it up that way, but let's see. Oh, it's not on. All right, folks, so this is TBS's Unify Pro 32 Nano, coming in at 0 grams. Check it out. All right, that means this is probably not even a gram. So that is light as hell. All right, folks, so who's gonna use this? If you're into micros, this is for you. Look how nice and small and tiny it is. If you are into racing, this is also for you, because this will do up to 400 milliwatts and do all of the fun things that you need, such as pit mode at a race event. Moving right along, we've got the TBS Unify Pro 32 HV. Now this is going to be a little bit bigger. I say a little bit, I mean like a whole bit bigger than the Nano. But look at this. We've now seeing a VTX where it's kind of got really 2 PCB boards covering things, which makes a lot of sense. It's a good way to cover the surface components. You got your LEDs here, you've got your buttons on the side right there for the manual. But this, ladies and gentlemen, let's go see how much this weighs. So this VTX comes in at 9 grams, but this is HV. Whereas the Nano 32 is 5 volt only. This is going to accept all the way up to 6S. You can plug this in directly to battery. Get the HV, it's got all the built-in filtering in it. It's just a guaranteed way of making sure you got clean video. Now here's the thing about this one, is this will do up to 1 watt officially. I've heard some reports that it actually does a whole lot more than that. But we're just gonna stick to what's official, which is 1 watt. Check this out. If you're into freestyle, if you're into long range, this is probably the one that you want to get. Get that extra range. Maybe you got some bando, you need a little extra penetration, performance. It's the one. All right, moving on. Here we go. Last but not least in the TBS VTX lineup. Man, shout out to TBS coming out with a whole bunch of new things. And you think that, like, you know, VTX, you just need it to work. You would think that there's not a whole lot left to innovate on, but leave it up to the folks at TBS to figure that out, because this is the Unify Evo. Maybe you bought a flight controller that doesn't have OSD, or maybe you don't care about the OSD that exists on flight controllers these days. This is going to be the one that you want to get, because remember how earlier I said shout out to TBS for that barcode technology? TBS was the first to come out with that technology. I'm right about that, right? Like that's what you know. You're just
making stuff up.
You just need to agree with me, man. You're just supposed to be like, yep.
I'm putting checks and balances on you.
See, this is the part that I'm gonna edit out, because that's not how this rolls. I make the decisions. I call things out, folks. TBS was the first, as far as I know. No, f that. TBS was the first people to implement barcode technology in the FPV scene. And this was it. This is the one. So this will do up to 800 milliwatts. This also has a secured connection to the board itself, which means this right here, I'm a hell of a lot more confident about crashing with this and even leaving this dangly. Okay, don't do that, folks. Don't leave it dangly. I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna officially tell you to do that. But unofficially, I think I could leave this dangly, and this is gonna be okay. But guys, this has a built-in OSD into it. It talks to Crossfire. It's got the Smart Audio 2.0 if you want to do all that. If you don't have an OSD on your flight controller, this will do it. And it's got this whole seamless integration. Definitely worth checking out. In fact, if you want to look a lot closer into it and see exactly how it's used, because it's pretty neat actually. You just face the camera when you turn it on to a barcode, whether it's printed on your t-shirt, shout out to Stinger Swarm, or maybe you've just got you know, something printed out on your phone or whatever, but you can change your settings just by pointing your camera, and this VTX right here, the TBS Unify Evo, will change your settings. Well, you don't have to touch anything. Just show it what you want and just do it. Gosh, I wish a lot of things in my life worked that way. You just show them what you want and it'll just happen. They'll just do it. Anyways, my name's Tommy, folks. That's going to wrap it up for today. If you want to see something a little bit more in-depth, drop it down in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to be working on a video just kind of looking into that whole night camera thing. I might be wrong. I might just be tripping. I don't know. I don't know what's left. Shout out to my hat. Anyone's interested in this hat, people have been asking. I originally made this just for myself because I like unique things. And this is a cork brimmed hat with my logo on there. And due to popular demand, I've made it available. Check it out. It's on my store, ohmygod.com. If you want to support me, check out the links below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. How's that? Was this just good? Just good?
It's great.
It's great?
You done good.
That shit sound fake. Let's do it again, folks!